Everyone.
Okay. So we are live. Would begin in a bit. Chimdi, can you hear us?
Yes. See, we are live.
Yes, we are live.
Yeah, I can hear everybody.
Okay, awesome.
I've done it already.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to the second hangout of here with the intermediate learners on the Android learning community, which is powered by Andela and supported by Google. My name is Solomon Awushumi. I'm the program manager from the Google side on the ALC project. I have several other people on this call with us who are very whose effort in this program cannot be underestimated. In due time, everyone will go on to introduce themselves. Just a quick overview of what we'll be looking at today. We've been able to look through how far you guys have been learning so far in the program, and we've come to understand a few challenges that might be inhibiting your learning going forward. And one of the things we plan to do was to run a session like this to address the various challenges that participants are currently facing. So I'll just go on to go on through the introduction right now. So with me is my Oga, Hanedi. So Hanedi will go on to introduce himself, and everyone, including our expert speaker, will go on to introduce introduce themselves in the next few minutes.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Anyedi. Yes, I'm very dark. I work on the developer relations team at Google, and I sort of have both an interest and a little bit of oversight in this program. I've been quite involved with Solomon and a lot of all other cross-functional teams at Google, from the policy to the country team to the training team, and also the developer ecosystem team, fashioning out this program. So we believe this is a program that is very crucial for the country, for the ecosystem, giving people an opportunity to come together, learn, partner, network, and sort of create a buzz around what's being done, so that eventually we get a lot of recognition for the program and a lot of very positive outcomes. We're very interested in the impact, and we're happy with what is going on. So I'll step aside right now and allow other people to introduce themselves, but just know that I am I'm an alliance in Google to help you guys achieve what you want with the program, and also to professionally help you make an impact either at your next job or when you start your next company.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ogandidi. So I'll move on quickly to Chimdi, the program manager from the Andela Hen. Chimdi, over to you.
Yeah, welcome everyone to today's call. I'm sure they're already familiar with my face and my name, because I always disturb the intermediate learners submit their weekly progress and all that. So I think I hope I'm not a nightmare to you guys at the moment. But we are really happy seeing how you are progressing in the course so far. It's amazing seeing how you have owned your teams, formed formidable teams, collaborating with one another to see that you kind of complete even the course as a team, not just as individuals. So we'll say that you guys have been doing amazing stuff, and we're really proud and excited about how this is turning out. And all I want to just say is keep doing your best. I'm sure you will just be limitless. And I'm managing the program from the Andela side. Everything to support you to make sure that you come out on job in the program is our concern. So as we go forward in the call, I'm sure you have a speaker that will kind of excite you and get to show you more or let you know more about some of the concepts that you are going through in the program, like the content provider. So that's all for me from here for now.
Thank you, Aneke. Thank you so much. So quickly, can the program assistant quickly introduce themselves in the next 2 minutes? Everyone, please. So we can move on to our speaker quickly.
Good day, everyone.
Hi, Chizoba. We can hear you.
Okay, Chizoba Obuna, the program assistant for the South, and Southeast region.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, David.
Yes, my name is David Aja. I work as the program assistant for North Central, Northwest, and Northeast. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, David.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to go for CDF. My name is Chioma James, and I'm the program assistant for Southwestern Region 1, Lagos and Ogun State.
Awesome. Thank you, Chioma. Okay. So I think
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Maiwa.
Yeah, my name is Oluwa Mayowa, actually. And I'm the program assistant for the Southwest region. So I work with Choma.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Maiwa. So finally over to our amazing expert speaker, Chike. Over to you, Chike. Please, let's get to meet you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chike. So just know that I'm not an expert. I'm a learner. I'm learning every day. So don't look at me like expert, please. I'm a software developer. I work for a company in Lagos. So I'm the Android developer there, and also I write tutorials for Ivato Touch Plus on the Android framework. So I hope I will be able to explain to you content provider and demystify everything. So I hope I have a pleasant time with you guys.
Okay. So thank you very much, Chike. We'll move on quickly. So if you're just joining the call, don't forget to ask your question on studio.com. Use the hashtag, use the code D829 to join this particular question, this particular poll, and let us know what challenges you're facing with the with this current lesson. I'll just hand over back to Chike. He has a few presentations on content provider and some things to get you familiar with the platform, and maybe you might also mention key challenges you are currently facing. But in the meantime, feel free to drop your questions on YouTube or on this particular poll channel. So right now, I'll be adding over to Chike. Over to you, Chike.
Okay, thank you. So I have some slides. Let me share my screen right now. So okay, I will be talking on content provider, and so first of all, you should know that to use content provider in your app is not a must. That is just the fact. It's not a must. So content provider provides you an abstraction, like it helps you encapsulate the data storage mechanism you are using for your app. So if you look at, for example, now, okay, you understand what content provider does. It helps you to encapsulate your data layer. So the underlying data structure, the underlying data mechanism is not really exposed to other people. What they just do is just to consume the data that you are providing for them, and they don't give it. They don't care how you are getting the data and the rest of them. So why you should use content provider in your app? That one is not in production. You rarely use a content provider except you want to share your app data with other apps on the Android device. So if you have an app called App A and you have another app called App B, and that App A, you have data, maybe you have user name, user phone number, user email, and some other things like that. And you want App B that the user has installed on his app. You want App B to access that data in App A. There's no other way you can do that except using a content provider. So it basically provides content for other apps to use. So for example now, you are aware of the Android Contacts app, the Contacts app on every Android device. If you're building any app that wants to get the user, let's say for example now you're doing let's look at WhatsApp now. WhatsApp, once you just click on the fab button on your chat, it opens your contacts. So WhatsApp is able to read the contacts from the contacts database in the Android device. How is it able to get the contact database, the details of the contact from the phone? Is by content provider. So the guys that develop the Android, they provided the content provider on the contacts app. whereby other apps can access the contacts, do whatever, get maybe the user's name or the user's email or the user's phone number. So with that, you can just build an app that will just consume that data that you want, and that is it. So with that now, so the one of the trick about the one I mean about encapsulation that the content provider provides for you is he hides how you're accessing that data. So I can get the data from SQLite, that is local database. I can get the data from a remote server. I can get the data from a file, maybe XML file. So I hope you can see my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
If you look at the overall structure of content provider, it's very easy. It's not that difficult. So you have application 1, it has different activities, application 2, application 3. And all of them are all accessing a central content provider. So the app that is providing that content provider can be another application ABC or application XYZ. So as I said earlier on, it hides the how you access your data. So you can see, you can get it from the database, from the file, from the XML, from a remote source. So the central piece now is the source of your content provider. So you need a source. That is the content provider gives you a source of users getting access to your data. And applications can get and consume that content provider. And different types can be accessed, different data layers, either the database, the files, the XML, or the remote. So with that now, you can hide the mechanism. That is the key thing about content provider is the sharing of the data with other apps, and also encapsulation, how you get the data. All I know is that I need the data and I get it. That is all. So, and content provider, it needs also. So the content resolver, I don't have any slide for that. So the content resolver works with the content provider. So when you are creating your content provider, you know that you have to declare your content, your authority, content provider authority, which is your authority is unique to that application. You can't have multiple content authorities in that application. It is unique to that application. So once you declare your content authority, you have to go and register it. You have to register that content authority to the Android framework that, okay, I want to share my data. So the Android framework can able to say, okay, before you share this data, register it. So you go to your as you all know, your manifest file, and then declare your content. You declare your content provider, then you put in your content authority. So with that now, you have your content resolver. So what the content resolver does now is it maps your content, the URI you are giving it. The URI is the Uniform Resource Identifier. So it maps the URI. Just look at that URI as just like your browser, your HTTP request. You want to input a browser URL on your browser, www.facebook.com. So that the URI is it used to identify a resource in your database. So you use it to identify a resource. So the content resolver now gets your URI. So from inside that your URI, you are aware that you have to put in your authority there. So as I said earlier on, the authority is unique to your application. You can't have multiple, you can't have the same authority in your application. So once you've registered it now, and in the content provider now, it maps that your authority to that URI. So once you get that URI, once you put in your URI in your the content resolver accept the URI at the first, I think at the first argument. So once you put it in, it now goes to the Android the Android system, and now look for where it has registered the authority. So it now gets it and say, okay, this is this guy that wants to handle this data access. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, go on.
Okay.
I think they are adding their questions to the relevant channel. So when it's time for that, we'll address that. Just continue, please.
All right. So once you've declared all those things, you've declared your authority and the rest. You know another usefulness of using content provider is that you don't need to, like, if you're using normal SQLite now, if you want to issue a delete request, you need to now write the db.delete, then put in some parameters like the selection arguments and some other things like that. But with content provider, you need to declare 4 methods. Number 1 is your query. Your query means that your query just to access the data. You send in a URI. As I said, that the URI is the uniform resource identifier. It identifies the data you want to get from the database. So you send in the URI to your query. The query is just to simply go get me list of, for example, list of books. Maybe you have your database, you have list of books, you have introduction to computer science, you have data structure and the rest. So you just go there, give me the list of books in that, using the query method in your content provider. So once you get the list of books, then you can do whatever you want to do with it. So another thing is the update. You need to update a resource in your database. But another unique thing about content provider is that you need, once something has been updated, you need to notify observers. It's what they call content observers. Observers are simply just listeners. Okay, they've registered to listen to this particular URI. For example, now let me say books. Maybe your books URI, and maybe, okay, let's say you have a list of, you're using recycler view, you have a list of books showing in an activity now, and that list now has registered to listen for changes in that URI. Maybe URI is your content provider, then you now have /books. So that is your URI now. You want to get the whole books from the database and display. So that recycler view, now that activity now can register to, okay, I want to listen for changes in that URI, in that books, in the books URI. So I want to listen for changes in that particular URI. So if you send an update operation to your content provider, update 123, or update introduction to computer science. So maybe you change the author's name or the rest, you put in your content values, you put it in. So once you've done that, now, you now have to get in. You now have to now listen for changes. So once that update request has been done, you just notify the observers that has happened in that particular URI. So this happens for just for your updates, for your query. I mean, it happens for query, update, delete, and I have forgotten the other one, but it happens for those operations. So you need to update the observers about that. So I think I've done a short intro. I think I've answered everything.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chike. I think that was really helpful. So
yeah, thank you.
Yes. So I think we'll just jump into questions quickly. I don't know if Aniki has anything to say before we jump into questions. Okay.
So I think we can just jump into the questions. There's no need to break the current conversation. I think he's quite interesting at the moment.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So I'll jump to the questions quickly. This question was super voted, so I think it's a big one. Someone is asking, can you please recommend external libraries with proper documentation that can be used for implementing a content provider?
This guy like he wants shortcuts. Okay. Okay, so the thing is that I'm not aware of any library that can handle content provider. I'm not aware of that. But what I'll tell you is that before you start using any library, it's good for you to understand what that library is doing. If you don't understand this content provider stuff and you're using a library, you're not really helping yourself. So you need to understand content provider is not that difficult to grab. It's not that difficult at all. So you need to understand this content provider before you start using. I believe there will be libraries to do that, but I'm not aware of any library to implement content provider.
Okay. This one you don't have to answer right now, Chike. I was going to ask, is it possible to run like a short demo on how a few things work?
Okay. Let me share my screen. Let me show you something.
Perfect.
Still the PNC phone screen, additional phone screen. So essentially, PNC comes in twice in one session.
So can you see my code?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So as I said earlier on, now this is the content provider class, and this is an app back then. It's just to stop people that are owing you money in your Android phone. It makes use of content provider and some other stuff. So this one now,
Please, can I download this app, because people that are owing me money is plenty small. Sorry for interrupting, but I need this app, seriously.
Okay, no problem. I'll make it available. So with this now, we have our content provider, which we have a class that extends our content provider. So as I said earlier on, the URI, you need to provide the URI. So the URI is like how do you want people to access your data? Basically now, I have in my app now, I have a list of debtors, people that are owing me money. And also I want to be able to get the list of debtors, and also want to be able to get a particular debtor from my app. Maybe I want to, let me say, David Aja is owing me 1 million naira. So in my app here,
David, well done.
Oh my God.
so in my app now, I want to be able to, like, when I click on, maybe I have a recycler view showing the list of debtors. When I click on David, I want maybe the next activity to go and get some other data from the database. So those are the two. Like, it depends on how you structure your app, but for this app now, just to get the list of debtors and also get a particular debtor. So the URI now is just the resource, and that I'm giving the clients. The clients now are the consumers of your content provider. I'm giving the client that, okay, this is what is available for you to access. List of debtors and also a particular debtor. So that URI, that's what it does. That's what I'm doing with this debtor here and this debtor ID. So I just gave it, you just give it an arbitrary number, but they should not be the same. Just maybe can give it 5, 2, 10, 20, and the rest. So this next now, as I said earlier, you need a content authority. So the content authority is registered in your manifest, and in your app, you can just have one content authority, which is global and it's unique. You can't have you can't have the same content authority. So this is just basically my content authority. It's just your website, maybe a verse. So like your package name, you just put in your package name there. So this one is the base URI. This one is just to pass the URI, because we're going to create a content URI. We need a content URI whereby if my content resolver, as I said earlier, my content resolver needs to identify my URI that I'm sending it. Then it can now know how to do the operation with the content authority. So basically, I'm creating my URI with this one. So that's what I'm doing here. So the thing I just want you to focus on right now is just this thing now, this URI matcher. Basically, I want, as I said earlier on, I have two URIs. I have list of debtors and also a debtor with an ID. So I need clients now. If any client should give me any other URI apart from those two, the content provider will maybe you can throw an exception. I'll show you where it throws an exception. So basically now I'm telling the it gets here. I need to confirm if that URI matches anyone that has been already registered, that has been registered already with my content provider. So right here, I'm just adding up the URI. I'm putting my content authority, which is very key. Then I'm putting in the debtors because I want whereby somebody can say com.kolokoda. Maybe Chike or .NET /debtors. Do you understand? And also putting a number here. So this one here is just a number which I've defined here. This one here, 10 and so this other one now, if you look at this other, the second line 46. So I'm raising another new URI now. I'm adding a new URI to my URI matcher. So don't forget what I said. I said that this URI matcher is going to match any URI that is hitting my content resolver, or let me say my content provider. So any other URI that is not to this format is going to reject it. So basically, what I'm doing here is now, okay, I want to get a debtor from my database, or I want to do an operation. Sorry, I want to do an operation totally with a particular debtor, any operation at all with a particular debtor. So I'm saying that, okay, let the client pass in my content authority, which is this one here, then /debtors. Then this hashtag here is a white card which represents a number. Do you understand? So this debtor can be debtor 6, debtor any number at all. So you should not have code the number there. It's not good for you to have code the number. Just put the hashtag there, which represents any numeric value, or let me say numeric character. So I'm passing in this other one here too. So with all this one now, okay, look at this delete operation now.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you, Chike. There's a question on YouTube. They said they can barely read your code. Can you find a way to zoom in a bit into your code?
All right.
Thank you.
Can you see it now?
Yes. Better now.
Better now.
Yes.
Okay. So look at the previous one. So now I said earlier on, once you've extended this content provider, you need to declare 4 methods: delete, get type, insert, query. Okay, 5, query, and then updates. You must declare them. You must implement those methods in your content provider. So now let's go to the delete right now. So in this delete now, we pass in a URI for that delete. So as I said earlier on, that URI being passed here must match our URI. That is, we'll come back to how clients are consuming this particular thing. Don't worry, you'll get that one very soon. So I pass in my URI, and this one is just the basic delete, selection argument. So here right now, this is my URI matcher that was declared here. that was declared here now, and I added the URI and I added this other URI. So once I just call it URI matcher.match URI. So basically, this one will just get into get the URI, then to now check whether that URI really my content provider can perform an operation on that URI. If you cannot perform an operation, it's just none of this will be this statement here. These cases will not work out at all. It will just throw the default, which is unknown URI. I pass in the URI. So this one will match that one. So basically, as I said earlier on, what you are doing here right now, we're using this app here is using SQLite database. So it's not using remote server or anything. So at this point here, at this junction here, I'm using SQLite database, get readable database, and then doing the delete. So if you are consuming an API or you're doing any remote operation, it's at this junction here. You can replace this whole line here. API, you are doing the delete, you're sending the delete request, and you're getting the response and whatever. So right here, that's one of the good things about content provider. Content provider, it helps encapsulate your data storage mechanism.
Hello, Chike, can you still hear us? Hello? Seems we lost Chike. Seems we lost Chike. While we're waiting for Chike to join the call. Okay, I think he's back. Okay, so I think Chimdi should really jump in while we're waiting for Chike to come back. So Chimdi.
Sorry for my internet went off. So,
okay.
Okay, we can go ahead then. Okay. Or should we? We'll give it a bit of time.
Yeah, I can continue.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So right now, I'm now checking whether this URI that is this delete is getting, whether it's registered on my content provider. So basically, I just do delete operation here. So with this one now, what I told you that content provider, you notify observers. If you understand the observer and the observable pattern, it uses that pattern. So what is going on here with this line of code here is that there are some registered observers. Notification. You want to send a notification about this URI, changes in this URI, so they can do whatever they want to do with. Maybe they want to do any operation they want to do. So what this one is just saying is just notify change and passing the URI. So this one will just send a broadcast now to observers that, hey, there have been a delete operation with this particular URI. So any observer can just get that notification and do whatever he wants to do. So those are the key things that is going on in this. So this other one is just the row deleted. So the next one, I'll not go to this get type for now because it's not really that important. It's just the type of the data. Let me go to this insert right now. These are the main important things to know. So this insert right now, as I said earlier on, the resolver will go to the part of the resolver. You insert your URI, then the content value. This content value is just basically the values of the data that you want to insert into your database. So we get in the URI, and this one will match whether that URI is registered already. So what, as I said earlier on now, you can register a debtor on the app. So this one is this is the URI that this one can happen for, that this one we accept. A URI that has the debtors at the end of the address, the URI address.
Hello, Chike. Seems we've lost Chike again. So I can see some of your comments on YouTube about the video quality from Chike's end. We are working on this to resolve it. However, if this persists, we'll find a way to get the code across to you guys after this particular training session. Chimdi, you can quickly run through what you have to say. Oh, waiting for Chike.
Okay, yes. So just like Solomon said, we'll encourage Chike maybe before next week or so to try and maybe send him maybe his explanations, that his solution, or maybe just a way like to guide you even after the call. So just to maybe divert a bit as we wait for him to jump in again. You must have all noticed that you have new learners joining your teams. Last week we had to let about 11 learners from the intermediate track go because they have not been consistent for almost 3 or so weeks. And please support the new learners in your team. Try and see how you can get them fast on track, and see how you can just kind of help them, onboard them, help them to make sure that they're learning the right way. Whatever we have told you guys before, try and like maybe communicate that same thing to them, and not just maybe allowing them to just maybe try to learn on their own and be guided by nobody. So we want you to give them the best experience you can and let them kind of level up as soon as possible. And you have also seen the changes in the weekly progress submission. So as to accommodate them since they are just joining just a few days ago. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to add. Okay, Chike is back. Chike is back, so we can just slide back to him. Maybe this is like a breakout session. Yeah, over to you, Chike.
So we have done for the insert. So this query now, this query just to get the data. So I just passed in my projection. If you know SQLite, you should know what these parameters are doing. So the URI, as I said earlier on, the URI is from what you registered, and it must match what we have there already. So what I'm not doing here is the same thing. So we want to insert a particular debtor with this particular URI. So it must match this one. I don't know why I put this one here. Just leave that one, Sha. Just a debtor with ID. So you just pass in our query builder. This one just builds our query. That is it for this query and this update too.
Okay.
So right now,
quick one.
Sorry.
Quick one. Please change your team. To go with white background. Can you change your team? Make it the light background team. You can barely read the Dracula team. That should be under appearance settings, Android Studio.
Can you see it now? Is it better now?
Yes, but I think the internet there is cause a bit of distortion here and there. But I think I'll be fine in a bit.
Yeah, just scroll a bit up and down. Scroll your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay now. Okay now, better now.
Better.
Yes. So, Chike, just a quick note. It would be cool if you can wrap up this session in the next 8 minutes, so we can answer a lot of questions we have piling up in the polls.
All right.
So, please go.
So let me go to the clients now that we consume our content provider. So just let me check this thing quickly. Yeah. So another thing about content provider, it works with, there's what they call cursor loader. So if you're aware of the cursor loader, it helps you to query data and load this asynchronously. So with that one now, it helps you manage how you do your threading when it comes to loading of data. So once, okay, for example, now I want to have a list and I want to show a list of vectors in my app. So that cursor loader, what it does is that it goes to it creates a new thread on a background thread. It now goes to the data source you want it to go to, either SQLite remotely or any other one. Then it now loads your data and now displays it on the main thread. You know, it's not good to do any high intensity stuff on your main thread. You should always do it on the background thread. So this content provider really works with the cursor loader very, very well to help you handle that one. So with this now, let me go to where I'm saving, where I'm doing the save operation for that vector. So here right now, okay, look at the example of that save operation now I'm doing. So here I'm saving the vector, I'm getting in the values, doing it. So here, this is my code base. That's how I did it. I created another class called the data source. So this data source class, what it does, it just helps, it communicates with the content provider. So it's I'm providing another level of abstraction to it. So for example, now this insert here, look at now. This is what I'm now doing the insertion. So I'm passing the content value. So here now I'm getting the content. The context is the whole your app context. So I'm getting the content resolver. So that content resolver now it provides a whereby it maps your URI to the appropriate content provider. So I'm doing the insert here. So this insert method here, my Gradle, I don't want to build, I've not built my Gradle, so I can't just control. So this insert here, that insert here is calling this insert method. It's calling this insert method here that I've declared in my content provider. What is happening here. So right now, I'm now passing in my content provider.content URI. I'm passing in the value. So this my content URI here is what I've declared here already. My content URI here. So all this content URI is being built from all these values here is being built. So I just pass it in and then pass in my value. So this method now will go my content resolver now. I don't need to the Angular framework will understand already that, okay, I've created a content provider here and I have an insert method. So once I just say get resolver.insert, it just calls this method here. And that is it. So I think I should stop for this insert. Then the same thing happens for the updates. For the updates, the same thing, get content resolver, updates, pass it the value. And I think I should stop here for now. Hello?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you, Chike. So, count.
Okay, so I think I should not go further because of the time now. So.
Oh, okay, awesome. So now on the questions, one of the major or highly voted questions is, how would you recommend that the movie posters for users' favorite movies be persisted as BLOB in SQLite DB or e.g. the SD card in DB? I don't know if you understand this question.
Okay, I think to quickly add, I would say any question that you feel like you need to maybe respond to them maybe later on as a test answer, maybe I can share with them. Feel free to also do that.
Yes.
This question about persisting the favorite movies as blob in SQLite DB. Sorry, I don't know how the structure of the favorite movie stuff is, but if it's basically just, for example, now name of the movie, maybe the rating of the movie, maybe there are parameters or there are properties of the movie, name, budget, views, and the rest of them. I don't see a need for storing it as a blob in SQLite DB. Just basically create your rows in your database, then just insert it into your rows. So if the data type of the property, you need to consider the data type of the property of that the data that you're getting. So if the data type of for example, there's a key called movie name, and the property for the value is just a string. So in your SQLite, when you're creating your table, sorry, I forgot to say it, but before you start creating your content provider, you need to create your SQLite. Because of there's no time, I can show you create your tables. First of all, you have to create your tables. Then, so with that now, as I said earlier on, if the key of the data that you're getting from the API, if the key of movie name is a string, then you put in a string as your data type, your SQLite database. If the other one is an integer, SQLite can also store an integer. So something like that. So if you're showing the images now, you can use a library like retrofit to do the showing of, to show the movie. I said retrofit. You can use Picasso or Glide. So, but I recommend that you use Glide. You can use Glide to display the images in the row. If the movies are being displayed in a row, in a recycler view or in a grid light view. So just use Volley. It's very easy to do. Just a line of code, or Glide. So just use Glide and then to show your. But for any other data type, just the primitive. What I'm talking about types like integer, boolean, float, and the rest of them. Just create your table with those columns and rows. With those rows as that question.
Okay, thank you very much, Chike. So I'll move on quickly to the other questions. To our participants, if some of your questions cannot be answered right now or we're not attended to right now, we'll find a way to make sure they are answered before in the course of the coming week, and send like a detailed document showing your questions and answers to them, and maybe a step-by-step guide to solving this, including resources that might help you. So So moving on to the second question. So can you give an example of how content provider works with a remote online database? Over to you, Chike.
Okay, let me show you example now. I don't have I've not done an example. I don't have a sample, but I will show you where you can just change some things in this one I did. So let me. So I said earlier on now, this one, like now I'm doing an insertion here, and I'm using SQLite database. This is the data mechanism. This is database mechanism I'm using. I'm using SQLite. So the content provider now, it doesn't. This SQLite database is not really tied to the content provider at all. So basically, I can just, if I'm using retrofit now, to maybe get the value, then send it to an API, then it will now store it somewhere, then get the response. So basically, I'll just replace this one. I'll remove this one. Then I'll come here. So if I'm doing an insertion now, I'll just come here now. There's no need for all this. I'll remove it. Then I'll now do my retrofits, import my retrofits, then do some other stuff and the rest of them. Retrofit is the best, as in one of the recommended libraries to use to do any API stuff. So I wrote an article on retrofit. If you check my Thought Plus profile, you see how I did an operation for consuming an API, doing a GET request, doing a POST request, and the rest. So you can check that out. So you just basically come here and just start putting in your parameters and the rest of that. So you just change this thing totally, and then boom, that is it. You come here. If you're doing a query, you come here, remove this one. I don't need this one. I'm not using SQLite database. I don't need this one. I'm not using SQLite database. I'll just come here, retrofits, create my retrofit instances and some other things, and that is it. So it's just very easy for you to just change your underline your data layer totally. You can just change it. You can just I was saying about the encapsulation that it provides. So I can use my data. I can use a remote data source, or I can use the SQLite data source. So it's at this junction that I can just replace it. So that is it. So you can check my tutorial on retrofit, and you can learn how to use retrofit to do that. Any other question? Hello?
Hello, sorry, I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So I was saying that yeah, the next question is, can you recommend external library with proper documentation that can be used for implementing the content provider? I think that we had answered this earlier.
Yeah, I've answered that one.
Yes. So the next one after that says, I still can't determine when to use a database and when to use a content provider. Can you tell us when to use a content provider, when it's necessary over a database?
Okay. It looks like the person that answered it is confused about what a content provider is and what a database is.
Yes.
So basically, a content provider is not a database. It's not a database. It's just a way for you to encapsulate, to hide how your database is. Do you understand? Database is just basically storing the data in either SQLite or in MySQL. Maybe you are sending it to a remote server and then storing it in MySQL, or in JSON, maybe you're storing it in JSON. That can be you can say that is your database. But content provider is not. It hides how you are doing those storage. Whether you're using SQLite, you're using MySQL from the remote server, or you're just using JSON. You're just saving it in a file system in your local device. So content provider provides just an encapsulation. It provides it hides just how you are doing those operations. So if you look at here now, if you look at this my slide here, so you can see what I specified here. This is your content provider, and these are the different storage mechanisms you are using. You can use it's not a must to use just a particular storage mechanism, mechanism. You can combine them together. It depends on how you want to implement your storage system on your device. So you can use database, you can use files, or you can just use only database. You can use files, you can use Excel, you can use remote. So all these things is just providing. So the provider just provide an abstraction to all this. So your database can be your local device, or it can be in a remote location. So that is just the two major things.
Okay. So thank you.
That's the two major.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we are behind schedule, and I'm trying to see how we can still answer several questions because we have a lot of them. Although we might push some of them till after the call. So another question here was really someone said it's really difficult to merge two SQLite database content providers. What do you think? Is it difficult to merge SQLite database content providers?
Okay. As I've said earlier on, content provider provide an abstraction. So your database, if you're using SQLite database, so if your app is using SQLite database, so you can have different tables or different databases in that particular SQLite. You can have a database called users. You can have another database called schools. So you can have it in that your particular app. You can have two different databases in that particular app. You can have a user database, you can have a school database. So you can now do whatever you want to do. You can, your content provider can, it depends on how you structure your content provider. So you can just be doing the insertion. Maybe you can detect if this URI is for a particular matcher, insert into this school's database. If it's for another, insert into this school's, maybe a table in that school's database. So insert into this table in school's database, or insert into users database in a table in user database. So it depends on how you structure them. So you can have multiple databases in your app. So, and different tables for each database. That's just it. So content provider can it's just how you are doing your logic, whether to insert into this particular table in this database or insert into this particular one.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so another one says content providers normally return cursor. Assuming I use circular view, what will the cursor adapter look like? This one is by Benny Wilson. So we might be rounding up this session about 15 minutes late, just to answer a few more questions. By 5:15, we'll wrap up this entire thing and we would follow up on extra questions. So you can just continue dropping your questions. Everything will be treated after the call.
Okay, so concerning that one of using a return cursor adapter. Oh, Sorry, I don't understand this particular question. I don't really get it.
Okay. You can. So, Benny Boy, you can do us a favor of asking this question in much more understandable way. So let's just pick on another question. So there's this question, this recent one about we were asked to save movie details and image locally for offline access. Saving this reduce the free memory of users' phone. Please share some best practices of doing this.
Okay, saving the image for offline access.
Yes.
Okay.
So they were asked to save.
Okay.
So they want to also do this while saving, reduce the free memory of users' phone consumed while they are doing all of this. So they're asking for best practices.
Okay. You know, if your app is consuming an API and that API is returning an image, so the best practice is two things. Either that API is returning, either you send it the API, the particular size of the image you want. Maybe you want 150 by 150 or 500 by 500. So that API now, the API has to do its own job of providing you those different formats of images, those different sizes of images that your phone will need. So either that API provides you send it as a parameter of the size of 150 by 150. Then the API will now say, okay, it has this image and it has the size of that 150 by 150, which is not that large. So it will not send you back as a response, send you the image. So then you can now do whatever you want to do with it. Or you get the image, a very large image from the API, which I would say you should not do. You should not get a very large image from the API, or not, to cause a lot of issues. And you now need to do some kind of degrading. You have to now get the image, then you now have to reduce the size of the image. It will create a lot of bottleneck for you, and to really do that thing in code is going to be challenging. So those are the two ways. So either you get a particular image from the API in that particular size that can work for your device. So, and another thing is that you can use another open source library. For example, now I said you can use Glide. I recommend you to use Glide. So what Glide does is that Glide, you can specify the size of that image you are expecting. So Glide can get that image in that, but see, the API needs to do its job. You should not really send one high-res image like that to that phone that is not. The API needs to do its job of trying to optimize format for maybe mobile devices or so. So if with Glide now, Glide you can just specify the size of the container. For example, now if you're displaying it in a recycler view or in a box, maybe in another view or in a box-like format. So if you specify the size, so Glide can help you do some optimization whereby it will reduce the quality of that image to fit that particular size. Doing this by code is going to be challenging. Doing this by code is going to be really challenging. So it's recommended that you use and Google recommends Glide. If you go to Google documentation, they tell you that you should use Glide for any image passing address. And again, Glide also has a caching mechanism. So with Glide now, once it has downloaded that image, it saves a cached version of it, as it saves it on the device. So once you download that image and you disconnect the internet, that particular image again, you will still see that image. So Glide provides that kind of caching mechanism for free. So doing your own caching mechanism is going to be challenging. To do it, that one is another whole thing entirely. So that's why most other developers, they always use a very, very tested and well-documented library, just like Glide, and Google recommends you to use Glide for doing any image download and display and the rest. It's very easy to do. So, and it provides you with all this free caching, image resizing, and the rest. Doing that by code by yourself is going to be challenging, and you need to handle many issues. You need to handle threading. For example, you have to run those things on the background thread, then do this that one is a lot of a lot of bottlenecks that you need to go. So I would recommend you to use. I recommend you to use Glide for that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chike. So Benebo has been able to rephrase his question. As is now displayed. I don't know if you can see my screen now. So the question is, how do I display the result of a query in Recycler view? You know the query method returns a cursor. So I think the method currently returns a cursor. Returns a cursor. So it's asking how you could display the results of that same query in a Recycler view.
Oh, okay, I get that now. You know, if it returns a cursor, okay, let me show you an example now of you need to go through those. A cursor now can have multiple rows. Do you understand? So you can return a particular data in a row, another one in a row, another one in a row. So what you do is that you need to be looping through the. You need to loop through the cursor. You need to do cursor dot. Okay, you do a while loop. Cursor dot move to first or move to next. What it does is that it moves to the next cursor. Then you will now start getting the values of that cursor. You have your object. You know, Recycler works with a particular model, a data model in your adapter. So if you have, for example, you have a user object, then you now start looking, start getting from that cursor in that first row. You get okay, user first name and last name. You put it. You now create an object of that user. Then you now have you can have an array list. If you have an array list, then you start putting in the user into that your array list, into that your array list, into that array list. So that while loop will be going through, the cursor, and when it finishes, then you can now send in, the array list of your user object to the client. Then your main activity now, you can send it to your main activity. Maybe on, for example, if you're using cursor loader, on load finish, you get the data as a list. Once you've gotten the data, you now send it to your adapter. So you send it to your Recycler view adapter. So you have to create you know about your Recycler view adapter. You need to have the list of an array list of the data. So you have to have a method whereby you can change that array list. Then your data will get it. Then it will now populate the Recycler view of it. But then you have to, if you're using, in Recycler view, to notify your Recycler view of new data, you need to either call notify item inserted or notify item changed. But that is not good to use, because what that one does is, once you give your adapter a new list of data and you call that method notify item change, what it does is that it now reloads your Recycler view. He now reloads everything, which is a very expensive operation to do. So the best approach is to use there's this helper class called diff callback. I think you should go and look at it, diff callback. So if you use diff callback with your Recycler, what it does is you update your new. You get that old. You have two lists of data. You have your old list and you have your new list. So that your new list now is what you have gotten from maybe from your content provider, the array list of your user object. You put it into the new list. Then in that your new list, in that diff callback, there's what they call. Okay, basically what that diff callback does is that once it has gotten your new list, it compares your new list with your old list. So it now looks for what have changed. So if like now in row 1 now, I mean in row 2 in your Recycler view, I changed the user. Maybe before the username was Chike, I changed it to David. So the diff callback now compares the two array lists and look for what have changed. So what has changed now? It's just go to that role and then update it. It will not reload using notify item change or notify item inserted, all those notified. What it does, it reloads your adapter, your Recycler view. But that diff callback, you should really just Google it and you read some tutorial. It just checks for the particular role of what have changed, and then insert it. If you have inserted a new data, it just append it to the old one, and it helps you to handle many issues with that. So as I said earlier on, in your content provider, you get in your cursor have rows of data. So what you do is you loop through your cursor. You use that method move to first. You'll be looping through them, extracting the values, creating your object, putting your object inside your array list of users, be putting it. At the end of the cursor rows, you now send it back to your clients. So your client can now get that array list, and then you now put it in your recycler view adapter. As I said earlier on, you should try and use this callback. Callback will just get your new list, then compare it with your old list, and then do the. There's a way you have some algorithm that can help you to handle updates, insertion, and the rest of them in your recycler view.
Okay, thank you, Chike. So we are very, very much behind schedule. We have just 3 minutes, and I'll just entertain just one last question, which is from Tayo. The question says, content provider is really not necessary unless you intend to share data between 2 or more apps, especially in production. Can you use SQLite DB directly for a single app? Chike, can you quickly respond to that?
Okay, I said it that you rarely use content provider in your app. That's not the fact. Except your app wants to share data. You want to share data. You have app A that wants to share data with app B. That one you use content provider, but you rarely use it. Just watch out and see. So basically, what you do, but just note that if there's some stuff you might want to do, like for example now, if you're creating a widget on your, maybe an app widget, that app widget will require a content provider to provide data for it. So you might want to use content provider for that. And for sync adapter, there's in Android what they call sync adapter to be syncing with you. Sync adapter works very well with content provider, but some people have found another way of using another thing else to do with sync adapter. So concerning that, using ordinary SQLite, yes, you can use ordinary SQLite. Like in that other app I showed you, that one I use content. But there's another app I did similarly. I didn't use content provider at all. I just use just one SQLite database to do all my operation. So it is very, and that was mostly you're going to be using. You'll be using SQLite directly. You'll be talking to your SQLite database directly instead of content provider. So,
thank you very much, Chike. We are highly grateful. So we are wrapping up the meeting in the next 1 minute. I know you would like to give like a closing speech.
Closing speech.
We'll just bid goodbye.
First of all, I think I'd like to thank Chike for taking out time to really share knowledge, and I'm also impressed that you actually took out time to prepare your slides. I'm the most guilty person when it comes to not preparing for slides. I just freestyle or wing it, but I mean it takes a lot of effort to share your code, prepare your slides, and just give up 1 hour of your time, and probably even 2 or 3 hours before that to prepare for the presentation. So thank you very much. Before I thank these 2 program managers, Chimdindu and Solomon, I'd like to thank all the amazing program assistants and facilitators. They're doing a lot of amazing stuff. I mean, when we piloted this thing, we're not completely sure how it was going to work. We've seen it work in other markets, and I can tell you that even right now, what has been done in other markets, no one has been able to. I mean, the feedback we're getting is that midway into the program, the traction we're getting from Nigeria, the engagement we're getting from Nigeria, the results we're getting from Nigeria are becoming a model that other markets, other people will use in Indonesia, India, Brazil. And what we're hoping for now is to get more numbers and also to get more recognition and more opportunity for you guys. As you kick off, or as you continue what you're doing towards like the end of the program, this is like the pilot phase. We hope that by the end of June, by early July, we'll have a lot of success stories, and we'll be very, very glad to provide a platform for for most of you to also share what you've learned and also get some sort of recognition and some, what's the right word, some acknowledgement from other, local and international Googlers of how much progress we've made. We believe that when the light shines on Nigeria, good things happen. I mean, the Andela example, who is our partner, is a very big one. So when Andela comes and brings 2 devs, 10 devs, 20, 50 devs that are respected all around the world, then Nigerian developers get respected as well. So it's the same thing we expect to happen when you hear, oh, there's a new community of 2,000 Android developers that are just come out of Nigeria, another 100 intermediate certified guys, and Nigeria or Google, Andela, any other partner in the ecosystem is planning to make that number 10,000 or 50,000 because of the success we've seen. I mean, I give an example, our Digital Skills Project, which is a 1-day training, originally wanted to do 1 million people over a year. And after about 8 months, they've blown away that number. And the only, the reward for doing that was Google to commit more money and say, let's do this and get to 5 million or even more than 5 million. So Nigeria is counting on you. Other devs are counting on you. The ecosystem is counting on you. And all the contributions you're making, honestly, are being recognized. And I always tell people in the communities or in anything that I personally working at Google is just a testament of giving back to the community, having no freaking idea where that was going to end. I never knew that just going for meetups and eating free food and collecting t-shirts and trying just to be cool and learning 1 or 2 things and keeping up and keeping the community alive could actually end me up at Google. So please feel encouraged about what you're doing and make sure that when the opportunities come, when the recognition comes, you have done enough work such that you can be counted as one of the success stories and one of probably the outliers that will go on to big things. I wish everyone well, but the truth is, from what I've seen in life, a few people, 1 or 2 lucky people, 1 or 2 exceptional people will go on to do more exceptional things and gain more exceptional opportunities. So the challenge for you there is that even if it's 1 person,
make it you.
Even if it's 1 person that will be raptured, even if it's 1 person that will be taken to Silicon Valley, if it's 1 person that will get that awesome job, let that person be you. And I can assure you, if you aim high, you definitely land somewhere. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Oga. Thank you so much. So as we are wrapping up, a quick one is thank you very much to every of the intermediate participants who have been able to double as facilitators across several regions. A big thank you to Chike for making out time for this hangout on here. I'll quickly pass the baton to Aneke to probably give his final speech, and then we close the meeting. We are very much behind schedule.
Some making it like one official stuff like speech. So
sorry, eh?
Okay, yeah. So great content today, great learnings. I think I also learned even by participating. So one thing I really want to say is that this is one of many. We have a great line of speakers, like waiting like now to talk to you bi-weekly. So this is a bi-weekly thing till the end of the program. So just be sure that we have like a great line of speakers waiting like to share their own knowledge too. And also what we'll do going forward too is that on your channel, we'll allow you to be the one to share maybe what is the most difficult concept here, maybe issue that maybe you're going through. You want us to maybe focus on that particular maybe concept or technology in a call that maybe suggesting maybe just from our own maybe feedback from what you have seen you guys submit and all that. So we'll maybe throw out maybe a form later on to see, what exactly do you want us to talk about? You want more of maybe a mentorship session, or maybe more of maybe around the course content, or maybe a particular concept in Android. Like we'll throw it out, and from there we can gauge the exact thing that you want us to give you back. So feel free. We want the very best for you. We are here to support you full time. So it's for you. Everything is for you. So feel free to suggest what will make sense for you. So it's all about you here. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you participating today.
Thank you, Chimdi. Thank you so much. Just a quick one, just to give you a tip of the iceberg. Some of the things we are planning includes bringing speakers who have gone as far, who are Nigerians working in diaspora for companies like Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and co. As time goes on. So we're not going to be limiting the speakers to just the content. We'll also be trying to leverage on how we can teach you soft skills, how you can develop skills that would earn you your next employable position. A sneak peek also is we are planning so well with our HR team at Google and Andela, even to have like an HR session towards the end of the program with you guys. So how to write your resume to maybe fetch you for the next big group. Who knows if the next person sitting down there will be the next Googler taking or occupying the same seat as an AD or Toki in London. So or Solomon or Chimbi.
Or Solomon alone.
Okay. So on this note, I would say if Chike has any final notes to say, I'll say you should please say it now, because we're going to be closing this call in a bit.
Okay. I'm really happy to be here to talk to you guys. So my final thing is just take it easy. Rush it. Don't rush learning anything. Just take it easy. Try to understand the fundamentals. That is just the key. Try to understand the fundamentals and also try to ask questions. If you have any issue at all, there are some questions there that I was not able to, maybe I did not explain it very well, or you can talk to me later on. I can help you to really break it down. So that's just it. And just be focused. Just focus. If Android thing, make sure that nothing else is distracting you. Android is a big, don't see because it runs on the device, it is small. Android is big, seriously. So just focus. Our advice is don't go and be learning any other language or any other thing. Just focus on the core Android and try to really understand the cocoa. That's just it. So
thank you very much. Thank you, Chike. Thank you so much.
Quickly add to that, we'll be adding Chike and all the extra that we're taking in your channel so they can observe and maybe help you answer some tough questions that you might have going forward. So expect Chike in your channel too.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aneke. So on this note, I'll say thank you to everyone who was able to make it to this call. If you have friends that were able to join, they can actually watch this video after now. It will be available on YouTube. So on this note, I'll say a big thank you to everyone for joining and do have a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Chike.